Next, let's talk about program budgets. Program budgets focus on outputs. So, what is accomplished? What's the end result? How did we achieve our goals and our objectives? The emphasis is also on the effectiveness versus the efficiency or spending. So, it's a major advantage is its ability to cross department boundaries on multi-department projects and initiatives. So we don't have the line item budget where it's pigeonholed as much. Looking at a budget from an outcomes emphasis allows the manager or the administrator to demonstrate progress toward goals, show our stakeholders progress. So this could be the public, the board of directors, and so on and so forth, and also build credibility with stakeholders as we show progression through our budget and our initiatives as far as working toward those outcomes. So typically, our measurements are at the lowest level of the organization. So we're talking about entry level type things. And we want to make sure that our measurements are consistent with our organizational goals and objectives. And that's something we want to make sure of anyway overall, right? We want to make sure our measurements are approved by appropriate supervisors. They're measured on a regular basis, and we adjust our budgets based on results. So this is another way of saying that if we see something doing really well that needs a little bit more influx of resources to move faster or to achieve more goals, we can make that. Or if we see something that's not working and we want to allocate resources elsewhere, we can do that as well. So let's look at program budgets. And here we can see we've broken this down into some specific things. If we look at Parks and Rec Department, and then we look at maintenance, aquatics, and then we can see the different things that go into aquatic maintenance. We see different things there. Now, this one's a pretty specific example, but let's go down to adult sports and look at like softball and tennis, right? So we've got spring, summer, fall, and then preseason softball things going on. And let's just say that something happens. We're not going to spend the money on the spring softball that we thought we would. We know that ahead of time, so we can allocate that money differently. But we're going to base everything within the programs, not so much per line item, but under pool preparation, we can have hours, hours of the employee worked on that, benefits and stuff like that. But most of all, it's just going to go under the pool preparation or the pool cleaning, stuff like that. And then we can say the aquatics is costing this much. Let's just say it's $10. And the pool prep is costing $1, pool cleaning is costing $1, chemical is costing $7, and pool closing has cost us negative so many dollars as well. Again, we want to link our budget back to our program goals. So if we look at our goals to provide recreation services and opportunities for all members of the community, and then we look at that through the lens of adult sports per se, we can say to provide opportunities for adults to participate in lifetime sports, promoting fitness, well-being, and all that kind of stuff. And then our objective within that goal is to provide opportunities for a broad range of opportunities regarding sport. And so we want to make sure that our budget, we look at the objectives. Are we providing that opportunity for a broad range of sports activities? And if we aren't, how do we need to adjust the budget to do so? Or do we need to move on from that objectives and put our resources elsewhere? Again, let's remind you that measurements are determined at the lowest level. We need to make sure they're consistent with our organizational goals. They're approved by supervisors. We measure them on a regular basis, and we make those budget adjustments. So if we think about that example we just looked at, we would say things like, okay, so if we're not meeting this, we need to either put more resources into it to make sure that we meet it, or we need to realize we have a different objective that's more important, and maybe we cut bait altogether and put all our resources elsewhere. In general, with this as well, we also make sure that our program managers, so the people directly involved in producing and evaluating those programs, are responsible for the budget administration within their program. So this allows them to be a little bit more responsive to needs and encourages them to be a little bit more creative while also having a sense of accountability for their budget and their program. Overall, program budgets are not as popular as other types of budget formats, but they are used in the professional world. So I would encourage you to check out some examples of that by going out to a web search and getting just a variety of different examples and how they're formatted and what they look like and how they communicate those.